Over the last 10 years, I went from a scrawny kid to playing D1 football at the University of Miami, building my physique, and also creating my business Athletics, which means to be athletic and aesthetic, by the way. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. And no, I didn't do it because I have blessed genetics. No, I didn't do it by following cookie cutter programs. And no, I didn't do it by giving any handouts. I didn't even have any offers coming out of high school. I'm literally just going to give y'all my entire story and how I became athletic and how y'all can do it too, so that way y'all just don't make the same mistakes that I did. So just keep in mind, I actually had to work and create an entire system to get me from where I was to where I am now. And in order for y'all to understand how I came up with that system, y'all got to understand where I started from. So we got to start at chapter 1. So my story is going to go in 5 different chapters. And the first chapter is, like I just said, is chapter 1. It's the start of my journey. This is about the time when I was like 13 or 15. And during this time, I really didn't do that much, to be honest. All I would do was train tennis because my dad was a professional tennis player and wanted me to be great at tennis. So I would train tennis for like 2 or 3 hours a day. On top of that too, I would go and watch Naruto, about another 2 or 3 hours a day of watching Naruto. So that's what started my love for anime. And on top of that too, I was a D1 menace when I tell y'all. Like, I was the type of kid who was just always getting into trouble. Like, y'all, if y'all are watching this and you was that kid, you know exactly how it was. Like, even if I wasn't even in the wrong, I would still get in trouble. Honestly, it's probably because I was like the only black kid at my school, but like, that's how it goes sometimes. So, you know, your boy was out here getting in fights. Like, there's days where there's this one time people stepped on my brand new white Vans, so I punched them in the face. There's another time where someone threw an orange at me, so I threw it in his face. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I low key deserve what I got, honestly, all things considered. But yeah, I was kind of a menace back in the day. But I also started to fall in love with fitness at this time, watching anime, watching stuff like Dragon Ball Z, watching stuff like Naruto, and just getting into that culture. It's like I started doing 100 push-ups a day, 100 sit-ups a day. On top of that too, just training tennis every day. I started building my discipline. The only issue was when it came to tennis, it's like I wasn't winning, and I was so hard on myself that every time I lost, I would get so down on myself, and like my self-belief began to waver. So after a couple years of dealing with this, I honestly just stepped away from sports. I told myself like, yo, this stuff is stupid. Like, there's no point of focusing on this. And I stopped focusing on it. And this lack of self-belief led to chapter 2, which is what I like to call the dark days. And these are the days between when I was about 15 to 17. And they were not the greatest of times. During this time, I poured all my energy and focus, and mainly just about pretty much 2 things, which was school and which was building muscle. Because I figured, like, dang, sports suck. If I'm not good at sports, then let me focus on something that's going to give me results. Let me focus on school so that way I can get a scholarship and whatnot. Let me focus on building muscle so that way I can get more girls. And that was literally my mentality. I thought if I got more muscle, I would get more girls. I thought if I did good in school, I would have success. That's just faulty beliefs at the end of the day. Because looking back now, that is not the case at all. Unfortunately, more muscle does not get you more girls. Because if it did, niggas on Venice Beach would have all the shorties on them. No, it doesn't work like that. Being the greatest in school does not get you more success. Because if that were the case, every college graduate would be rich and not in debt right now. But that is not the case. But unfortunately, I didn't understand this at the time. So I poured all my energy, I poured all my freaking focus and whatnot, all my attention on the school and on the building muscle. So I would go online, I would go to like bodybuilder.com, I would find whatever splits they had there. I would go on the internet, there is this dude Hannibal Fort King. I would do whatever he had made about like calisthenics and whatnot. I just got like really deep into finding like how I could get as big as possible, how I could put on as much muscle as possible. So I was going on all corners of the internet looking for information. But the issue was there was never like a clear cut set of instructions that you could follow in order to get exactly what I wanted. Because yes, I did want muscle, but even at that time in the back of my mind, I still also wanted to be athletic. I still want to be able to run fast. I still want to be able to jump high and be able to dunk a basketball. And I still want to look good with my shirt off. I wanted the best of all worlds, essentially. So I had to keep searching. I had to keep looking for the formula. And this led to me having a lot of trial and error. A lot of times where I was just following these programs that didn't actually work and just didn't have all the steps clearly laid out in artistic level detail as we love over here. On top of this too, I just kind of lived a purposeless life at this point in time. Like, I wasn't really doing anything that actually mattered. Like, sure, I was going to school and I was getting good grades, but deep down I knew that shit wasn't going to get me paid. I knew that was the type of thing that didn't really matter as much in the long run. I knew that building muscle didn't mean anything unless you actually had an ability to use the muscle, unless the muscle actually had a purpose and actually had a function. So I was kind of living this purposeless life, and that just reflected in my lifestyle as well. Because like at the time too, I was obsessed with like being popular in school. I was obsessed with like cloud chasing and whatnot. I was obsessed with partying because I thought that was like the cool thing to do, and I cared about that stuff. And sure, I might have been been known as like a popular kid in school, but gradually as time went on, once I got around to like my junior and senior year, I started to realize, I'm like, damn, like I looked around, I was like, none of this shit actually matters. None of this shit actually has purpose. None of this shit really means anything. And because of that, I began to focus on other things. I began to put my focus, attention, and energy on the other things. And slowly but surely, I kind of got back into athletics. I started to believe like, okay, maybe it didn't work out with tennis, but maybe it'll work out with something else. I started to kind of like develop this sort of like self-belief again in myself, because at the time I had the desire to be great. I had this desire to do more than what I was doing, and I knew I wasn't fulfilling my potential. Like I've been blessed with like this like 6'2" body. I had been blessed with natural athleticism, and I just realized I wasn't using it, and I needed to change that. So that's exactly what I did. I went out and started running track, and that leads to chapter 3, which is my experimentation phase. This was from the ages of about 17 to 19, and during this time, I was just, like I said, I was experimenting. I was trying different things. So I started running track. I was actually pretty good at track. I ran like a sub 11.5 or something in the 100-meter dash. And that was only off like a couple months of training. I actually had to stop training midway through because, again, I let school get in the way. I started studying for the SATs so I could get like a 1400 and whatnot. Yes, I am an academic weapon. Yes, I got all A's back in high school. No, it does not mean anything now. But I say all that to say is like, just like, I began to believe again. I began to believe that I could be great, and I started actually having results that showed that as well. So ran track, ran like sub 11.5 till I had to stop. Then I put my focus on the football. Started playing football literally only in my senior year of high school. So I played football, made like second team, all conference and whatnot. Pretty solid, I guess. Like all things considered, I think my conference was like, I don't know how good my conference was in the grand scheme of things, so I don't know how much like weight I can give that, but still, your boy made second team all conference. And the whole time though, I still hated sports. I still didn't want nothing to do with sports. When the coaches were like trying to get me to like go and talk to schools, go and send my film out, I didn't even want to, because I just didn't want to play sports. Something about it, I felt like I wasn't being used properly. I felt like if I went to college and played sports, I would just be getting like mistreated and whatnot. Like my potential wouldn't be fulfilled. And so again, I made the mistake of starting to focus on bodybuilding again. I got really big back into bodybuilding. I started like bulking up again because I got pretty skinny and whatnot from the football season. So I bulked up from like 170, 175, which I was at the time, all the way to like 200 in a couple months. And long story short, I got fat as fuck. It was not a good experience. I literally, like, my face got puffy. I just didn't look good. I didn't feel good either. And that actually resulted in me breaking my foot because I was playing basketball. And I just think that my body couldn't handle the amount of weight that I put on because it was just fat. So I break my foot, and now I'm down bad. I'm just kind of sitting at home, lounging around, and then all of a sudden, the virus comes around too. So now we ain't even got school. Your boy has a broken foot. I'm just looking around. I'm like, okay, something has to change. I realized right then and there, I was like, okay, this can't go on. This can't go on. I can't keep doing what I'm doing because it hasn't been working. And so I started experimenting. I started trying different things. I started fasting. Okay, I got really deep into fasting. Not hella deep, just like intermittent fasting, just like doing a 16-hour fast every single day, only eating for 8 hours out the day. All of a sudden, boom, your boy lost 20 pounds. My neighbors actually had a gym during this time too, during the virus and all that. So I would go to the gym every day. I would just be lifting. I started walking more. I started getting more sunlight. I started eating healthier. I cut out all the processed food. I started like prioritizing my sleep. I went from going to bed at like 6 a.m. and waking up at like 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. during the height time of the virus to eventually fixing my sleep schedule where I would like go to bed at 9 o'clock, wake up at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. I just started fixing my life. I started developing good habits, and I really started to like take my health serious and whatnot during this time. And on top of just like losing fat and gaining muscle as well, is like the rest of my life began to get better as well. I started gaining some clout on TikTok. I ran up like 200,000 followers because I would make series on the stuff that I was learning. I was learning about like Dokudo, the Way of the Samurai. I was learning about the 48 Laws of Power. On top of that too, with my scholarship to school, I actually got a scholarship, and what happened was my scholarship was so big that just for my academics, they was actually paying me to go to school. So I was literally going to the University of Miami, which if y'all don't know, the tuition there is like 50K, 60K, 70K. I was going there for the free, and not only was I going there for the free, I was getting paid to go there. I got a job as like a resident assistant over there, so I was literally living there for free and getting paid to go there. So your boy was running up moolah. Your boy was running up like 10K plus. I literally felt like the richest nigga in the world. And now looking back on it, 10K is not that much. Like, especially compared to what niggas getting nowadays, it's not that much. But at the time, your boy was, what was that thing called? Like a slumdog millionaire. I felt like I was like, at the height of that peak of life and whatnot. But still, in the back of my mind, there is an issue. Like, I still realized I knew that like I still wasn't fulfilling my potential. I knew that there was something greater for me. I knew that like the TikTok and whatnot, I knew that just like going to school and whatnot and doing stuff just so I could get a job, something about it just felt so soulless to me. It felt so purposeless. And so on January 1st of 2022, that's when I decided to fully commit and just go after my dream. And I decided to go after being a football player. On literally, I'm telling y'all, bar for bar, January 1st of 2022, I set my mind to it. I was like, okay, you know what, fuck it. This year, I'm going for everything I want. I'm going to go join the team and I'm going to ball out. So step one of that, which also kind of leads into chapter 4 of the story, which is what I like to call the dawn of athletics. This is when I started training athletically, but I didn't even realize or know it at the time. I didn't even have the term athletics. Athletics wasn't even like in the ether of the universe or anything. Like it wasn't even a term in my mind, but I was doing it. So, every day I would wake up, I would sprint, I would do drills, I would lift weights, I would stretch, I would recover, I would hit the sauna and whatnot. I would make sure I was getting my sleep. I would make sure I had a consistent schedule, eating healthy, fasting and whatnot. After 2 months went by, boom, I was already on the team, made the team, and then the grind went even deeper. Now it was about doing more football drills. It was about watching film. It was about doing all this. And honestly, I think I played football for about like a good like 2.5 years after that. And during this time of my life, it was just straight discipline. Literally just straight discipline and learning about athletics. Like I didn't even realize that at the time, but I was literally laying the foundation for athletics and what it is today. Because like I said, all the time throughout the year, it was just a culmination of lifting, sprinting, doing drills, watching film, recovering, stretching, foam rolling, hitting the sauna, and making sure that you recover, making sure you get your sleep, making sure that you got a mindset so that way when you make mistakes, you don't get down on yourself and you're still able to like ride the wave and stay on top and recover from that mistake. It's like I was learning so much during this time and I didn't even realize it. And when I tell you I was locked in discipline, I mean I was locked in discipline. So much so to the point where like I would actually have girls who wanted to get with me and I would deny them because I'd be like, nah, I gotta get my sleep. I would literally have girls outside my dorm room. I'd be like, nah, like boy, I gotta lock in. I gotta make sure that I'm up early for practice. Like I was so locked in and so dedicated to my grind that it was honestly kind of amazing. And at this point too, I was even fasting too. I was only eating like 1 meal a day. Like at first I started with 2 meals a day and then I brought it down to 1 meal a day. And I would do this during practice and I would literally be running the whole practice. But I learned like the power of my mind or whatnot. I learned that if I just tell myself that I have energy, if I just tell myself certain things, that my mind will believe that, and then reality will conceive that and I'll experience that. So it's like during this time, I just learned about the power of fasting, learned about the power of my mind, learned about how important it was to stay disciplined. I would even wake up, there was days I would wake up at 4 a.m. I wake up at 4 a.m. and I would literally work on writing athletics. Because if y'all didn't know, I actually made the athletic body program like a year and a half ago back when I was in college. I just didn't market it properly, so it kind of like, it's kind of just sitting in the vault on my computer right now. But literally, I would wake up at 4 a.m. just grinding. Wake up at 4 a.m., work on athletics, then go to practice at 7 a.m., practice and whatnot, finish around 12 and whatnot, then chill out a little bit before I go, before I freaking go to school and do all the work that I got to do at school. And then I got to come back for me. Like, I was really in just like this crazy grind set, this crazy season of discipline in my life. And eventually, college started to end and I was looking at my next steps, because I was about to graduate and when I was like, okay, what should I do next? So what I decided to do was I was going to hit the transfer portal and transfer to the University of Arizona to play football. So that's exactly what I did. Hit the transfer portal, went to the U of A, was talking to the coaches and whatnot, and everything was going smooth. I'm not going to lie. I was riding super high at this time. I had just cut my hair. I had waves and whatnot. I was just feeling super good. I was like, yeah, this is like the dawn of a new era. This is the age of a new era. And then that's when I got hit with the setback. That's when your boy tore his shoulder and all my football dreams died. For the time being, at least. So yeah, I tore my shoulder. Literally, I was playing fucking pickup basketball, and someone like nigga like boomed my shit, and that shit just like tore. So again, I was just kind of in a bad spot at that point. Honestly, I lost a lot of motivation and got kind of fat. I didn't feel good at all. I regressed heavily. Like I even went back to dating my ex. Like I regressed heavily. It was not a good time in my life. And it's crazy because it wasn't even that long ago. It was like less than a year ago that all this happened. But anyways, I said it to say I was just not in a great space. I wasn't really doing anything. I was pretty stagnant. Like life was not moving forward at all. I was just kind of going to the gym, kind of like eating healthy a little bit here and there. I wasn't creating content. I wasn't giving y'all any value. And so I had to go nuclear. I had to do something that just kind of set off a bomb in my life, kind of set off an explosion of change in my life. And so I booked a ticket to Thailand. That's exactly what I did. I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to Thailand for a few months, train some Muay Thai, maybe even do a fight or something. So that's exactly what I did. I went out to Thailand and I was living out there for like a few months. I went up to the north, started in Bangkok, went up to the north and like Chiang Mai, hit Pai, went down south to like Krabi, Phuket, hit Koh Samui. And by the way, quick little side tangent, if y'all go to Thailand, just go to Koh Samui, okay? Koh Samui is by far the best part of Thailand, in my opinion. If you want more of a chill vibe, obviously go up north. But if you want kind of like the best of both worlds, where you get like kind of like a party atmosphere, but also like, you know, still just like connected to nature atmosphere, and still like the whole sun being out and everything, because if you go up north, the sun ain't gonna be out that much. I would say just go to Koh Samui. Go to Koh Samui, it's the best. But anyways, while I was in Thailand, I was training Muay Thai and whatnot, fighting dudes, sparring dudes, knocked dudes down a couple times, and I started getting my competitive edge back. It's like I started getting back in that mode where I was like, okay, I believe in myself. I can do anything. Because before that, I was down on myself. I felt like I could do nothing. I felt so limited. But I went out there and I started getting perspective as well. I was like, what do I want to do next? You know, it seemed like football wasn't an option no more. I didn't want to keep spinning my wheels doing nothing. I didn't want to keep wasting my time. I wanted to make sure that I was making a difference in this world. I wanted to make sure I was living with purpose. And so while I was in Thailand, I just decided it's time to commit. And it's time to commit to athletics. And during this chapter, this is chapter 5, by the way, this is what I like to call the age of athletics. This is when I really decided to just take athletics seriously. This is when I was like, okay, like enough fucking around, enough like doing this and doing that. If football's out the window, it's time to pivot. It's time to focus on business. It's time to focus on something that I know I can go far in, and something I know I can make a difference with. And so that's how athletics was born. Athletics was essentially born as a way to just get rid of the misinformation, to give y'all just a clear roadmap, a clear path, so that way y'all can go from where you are now to where you want to be, which is having an athletic physique. And I haven't talked too much about the athletic physique, but to put it simply, it's literally just having a one-of-one physique. It's by achieving elite athleticism and pursuing elite athleticism that you achieve one-of-one, one-of-a-kind aesthetics. So that's how athletics work. And once I came back from Thailand, I actually cut my trip short. I was supposed to be out there for 3 months. After like a month and a half, I was like, man, fuck this. I know exactly what I need to do. I don't need to be out here around people drinking. I don't need to be out here around people, you know, fake finding themselves. I don't need to be out here around these spiritual hippies. Nah, I'm good. I'm going back to the crib so I can focus on and do exactly what I know I need to do and what I want to do. And so that's exactly what I did. I started working on athletics. Literally, I have journals. I have like literally like 10 journals of just like different programs, different ways to live, lifestyle habits, mindset habits, of just like essentially writing my athletic manifesto, if to put it simply. And that's exactly what I've been doing for like the last like 8 months. It's just I've been experimenting on myself so I can give y'all back the knowledge, so I can give y'all back the value, so I can literally, like I said, lay out an artistic level, step by step, guys. That way y'all don't have to do any guessing, y'all don't have to do any thinking. Y'all can just follow the system that I created and get the results you want, which is the athletic physique. And so that's exactly where we are now. Now we've caught up to the present. Now y'all see how I created the athletic system. When you achieve elite athleticism, you not only lay a foundation so that you can be great in any sport, but whether or not you're playing sports or not, is that you give yourself boundless energy to go forth and just live a great life, to go forth and be great at the pursuits and the things that you do, whether it be a job, whether it be a business, whether it be in your relationships. It just gives you more energy, so that way you can live a higher quality of life. So if y'all are interested in checking out the Athletic Body Program, so if y'all are interested in transforming your body in the next 90 days and going from where you are today and transforming into an athletic beast, click the top link in the description below and get my Athletic Body Program while it is on its special spring sale right now. And seriously, y'all, I appreciate you if you watch this entire video. I hope it's giving you some perspective. I hope it's showing you that like literally anything is possible if you just start taking the right steps, if you just start taking the actions, if you just start walking down the path. Eventually the right way will reveal itself. But seriously, like I already said, I appreciate y'all for watching this video, and I'm out. Dooski.